Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel. My name is Amanda. I run the channel with my friend Jen, and in today's video we are going to be selecting our March TBR.
Hey guys, welcome to our March TBR. My energy might be a little lower today because I am still recovering from surgery and I am mostly resting and sleeping a lot, especially from the meds I'm still taking. But I am here to bring you the 10-ish books that I plan on reading in March. I do think that's a little ambitious, but I should be feeling better in a week or two, so I think I will get more read. Even though I am mostly resting, it's hard to get comfortable, and the meds make me kind of dopey, so I end up not being able to concentrate or read that well. And I was afraid of that. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have downtime, I'm going to have time to read, but I didn't know what the pain level was gonna be, and I didn't know how the meds were going to affect me. So we shall see. Maybe I'll get more as I get better each day, but I am still in pain, unfortunately. I did have a nice surprise today. I got some flowers from those I work with, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you so much. I love smelling fresh flowers. And I tried to get them in the frame, but I was trying not to mess too much with how I was doing the camera, because especially like stretching movements hurt a lot, so I ended up just leaving it. It's fine. I'm gonna start with the books that I plan on reading that aren't going to be in vlogs with Amanda. Even though those aren't always the most, they are ones that I really aspire to get to, because I like to have books that I just read and I'm not necessarily having to do anything for them. Especially right now, we are doing an ARC video that it's not only am I having a hard time trying to concentrate and read, but I have to also record, and I keep feeling like I'm gonna be recording and I'm gonna seem so dopey on camera. Good thing is I get to edit it before I would put it anywhere. I already had to delete a couple videos because after I looked at it a day or two after, I was like, no, I'm not using that. So the first one is a physical ARC. It's called Lucky Night, and it's by Eliza Kennedy. I just spoke about this one in where we have a most anticipated video coming out for March and April. This one comes out March 25th. It's about a couple who have been cheating together. They're married to other people, but they've been cheating together. I want to say it said some long number, like 6 years. And they are in the hotel that they typically meet up in. And while they are in that hotel that night, this particular night, the hotel ends up being on fire. And they're not paying attention at first. And I don't know, I think they think that the fire alarms going off are just an emergency drill or not real. And I'm not sure what happens, obviously, because I have to read it. That premise interested me, so I had signed up for an ARC and got it. Obviously, I will possibly do an ARC review for this. I will let you know. I don't tend to do them if I really don't like it, just because I feel like I am doing a video bashing a book and I don't like that feeling. But you may see me do a ARC review for this.
So first I want to start off with some like random books that I want to read that aren't necessarily planned to be in vlogs. And the first one is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. I received this ARC from the publisher. I actually won a bundle of 4 young adult romantasy ARCs. I have read A Language of Dragons. That was one ARC that I reread, and an ARC review is up for that one. And this book is already out. It came out in February, but I have heard or seen, I haven't actually heard, but I have seen this book around a lot. I noticed on Goodreads they were doing a giveaway for this ARC, and there was like a crazy, like 20,000 people requesting it. I have seen a couple of people purchase it in other YouTube videos, so it's getting a little bit of hype, and I want to read it and see what this book is all about. Hopefully it's a really good one.
The next one is not an arc. I know, surprise. I feel like I have been reading a lot of arcs recently, and I do want to read just, you know, books that are out already as well. I haven't had a chance to read any classics this year or anything that I've been wanting to read from previous lists that I haven't got to. And this would be one of them. This is a reissue, and it's by one of my favorite authors, Jennifer Hillier. I haven't read everything by her. I think she's most known for Jar of Hearts, but I have done some of hers in other vlogs that we have done. It was called Wonderland, and it was like a amusement park, and there's a murderer, and that one was really interesting. I actually like that one a lot. And the first one I think I read by her is Things We Do in the Dark, and that one was a multi-point of view story told from a married woman who her husband is cheating on her, and I thought that one was really well done. And I think those are the only ones that I have read by her off the top of my head. And she has reissues coming out for some previous books again called Freak and then Creep. So I also intend to read those once they come out, but this one I wanted to read, and it's kind of your classic thriller / horror trope of there was a murderer and terrorized a town, and then years later new information comes up. It puts that situation in a new light. I don't know what the new information is. I don't know if it's they have the wrong person that they put away, if the murderer had someone helping them. I'm not sure yet, but it's called The Butcher, and I'm going to be reading it in March.
The next book is also a book that has received a lot of hype, and I think that it sounds like a good time, and that is Heavenly Bodies. And I'm not even gonna butcher this author's name. I feel terrible, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. It's Imani Iriu. I don't know. I'm really bad with names, but this book, I'm sure you all have heard of it. The little blurb about this book says that it combines Greek mythology, shadow magic, and enemies to lovers. So I like a good romantasy where the romance part is a little less heavy than the fantasy part. And if this includes Greek mythology and shadow magic, I'm hoping that this will be a little heavier on the fantasy and a little less heavy on the romance. And we'll see. It just sounded fun, and I've been seeing this book everywhere.
The next one is an electronic arc that I have, and I am really excited about it, because I read Theme Music by T. Marie Vandelli last year when we were doing a vlog picking a book by the cover, and I had gone to the library and I was struck by this cover, had never heard of the book Theme Music, and it ended up being a 5-star book for me. I really enjoyed it. It was one I kept talking to people at work, and then I had a couple coworkers read it and freak out and love it, and also give it 5 stars. She now has a new book coming out later this year. I forget what date it is, but I'll put on the screen so I can put the date that it's coming out. But when I saw that it was on Edelweiss that I can read it, I wanted to read it right away, but we've been behind on vlogs and stuff like that, so I haven't had a chance to read it. I am intent on reading it in March because I really want to read it. And it's called Anevilpremise because I already have it on the screen anyway, because I always tend to not say the title. And I talk, and the title is important. So it's called Anevilpremise. It's about a sister, it's 2 sisters, and both are writers. And one of the sisters goes to visit the other. One she's going to visit had been in some type of accident. She's in the hospital. I don't think they know what happened, but when her sister goes to her apartment, she sees that she had been working on a book. And as she starts to read what the book is about, the book is literally about what's happening. It's about someone having something happen and go to the hospital, and her sister comes to visit and reads the manuscript. So she feels this she feels drawn to this manuscript and feels like she needs to finish it because it's just too coincidental and too weird. So it just seemed like a really interesting, again, concept by her, and I definitely want to read it. I'll be reading it for sure, and I'll probably do an ARC review.
The next book is another ARC that I've received that I am dying to read. Like, I would start it today if I wasn't in the middle of another book, and that is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This book is coming out in May, I believe, so I'm a little bit ahead, but I have seen other booktubers, especially fantasy-focused booktubers, have already read this, and they have all given it 5-star reviews. Like, I don't think I've seen anyone not give this a 5-star review. So I am so excited to get into this. I have read a trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, but it was set in a world where it was, I believe, the 6th, 7th, and 8th book in this world. So I need to go back and start with book 1 in this world and read all the way through them. So I have read Joe Abercrombie in the past, and I have really liked his writing. He has been described as the grimdark fantasy king, so we'll see. The Devils seems like a very dark novel, and I can't wait to read it.
Another one I have an electronic ARC that I've been wanting to read now for a while is a new one by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm going to remember to say the name before I go on and on and on. It's called Atmosphere. I'll put it on the screen. I've read a lot by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think there's only 1 or 2 more I haven't read of her backlist. And this one's coming out. Again, I'll put the date on the screen. I want to say it's in June, but I could be wrong. This one, the only part that I know in terms of the premise is that it takes place in the 1980s and it's about a female astronaut. I don't know much more, but Taylor Jenkins Reid is an author that I will read anything new, unless it was something really crazy out there that I have no interest in. And this one was at first, I was like, that's an interesting topic for her to be covering. It'll be one of those that I pick up and I will find out as I'm reading, and I'm a-okay with that. And especially if I love it, you will see an ARC review for it.
This next book has been on my TBR for like a year. And that's Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I read Ninth House. I absolutely loved it. It's been over a year since I read Ninth House, so I might have to go back and watch some spoiler vlogs or something if I can find one on Ninth House, just to refresh my memory of what was in the book, or I could possibly reread it. I'm kind of with Jen. I'm not a big rereader, but regardless, I want to get this duology completed, y'all. I had such a good time reading Ninth House. I need to continue this duology, and I want to get this checked off my list.
There's another ARC. Like I said, I feel like me and Amanda have so many ARCs right now that we need not only to read together for vlogs, but I think both of us also have a lot of ARCs of interested books each of us have on our own. And it's definitely, I think our channel focuses a lot on ARCs, and people do like to see ARC reviews. And again, before I go any further, ARC is advanced reading copy. I always forget, not everybody knows what that is. I know she and I are very familiar with that term, and we talk about it all the time, but we have had comments before on videos that ask what does ARC mean, and not everyone is familiar with it. Advanced reading copies are often copies publishers put out to have people read it and create buzz for it so that we can tell people how great they are so that they go out and buy the book. So the one that I'm reading is A Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose. It is a sequel to her book A Perfect Marriage, and that's probably her most well-known book, I think. I've read other ones by her. I do like her writing. I feel she's someone now that I trust enough to go back for more. I don't know what's going to be happening in the sequel, and I don't really want to talk about what happened in A Perfect Marriage because I just said this in the most anticipated March and April video that it's Frida McFadden who said this. I can't take credit for the quote, but that sequels are basically spoilers because you know someone / something is alive for the next book. And it could ruin potentially the first book. So I'm not entirely sure the plot anyway for Perfect Divorce. I just know it's a continuation of some of the characters from A Perfect Marriage. I will be very curious to see, based on how it ended, The Perfect Marriage, how this one's gonna go and who's back. That's all I'm gonna say. Keep an eye out. I'll probably be doing an ARC review for that.
The next book is also a fantasy book. It has a book 2. I don't know if it's just a duology or if it's going to continue a series, but there's a book 2 that I believe is already out. So I feel like I need to read this book to find out if I like it and if I'm going to continue the series. And if I am, I need to buy book 2. And that is Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Manthani. Again, I'm so bad with names. But I've heard mixed reviews about this book. It sounds like it's a really fun plot, and it sounds like it's a really good idea for a book. I have heard some critiques about the writing style, so I'm curious to see if this book is going to work for me. I really hope it does, because it sounds interesting, and y'all, look how pretty this book is. Ooh. And I really want to go out and pick up the second book, because it's also a very pretty book, but I just love getting into like fantasy series. The books are coming out, you're anticipating them. They're a good time, so I'm really hopeful that I will like this one.
The next one is a vlog that me and Amanda are doing together, and it's for obviously another ARC. It's from one of our favorite authors, and I think Amanda might even be a bigger fan of jhmarkert than I am. This one doesn't even come out until September, but we were lucky enough to get Edelweiss approval. I believe it's Edelweiss. I don't think it's NetGalley. It's called Spidertothefly. I had read the premise because I remember texting something to Amanda about how interesting it looked, and she said she hadn't even looked to see what it was about. And I don't even think I said to her what it was about. And to be honest, I now forget what it's about. But he's usually in the realm of horror and very interesting books. The ones that we love by him are The Nightmare Man. Of course, I'm forgetting his latest book that came out in the fall, and that one is actually my favorite one by him now. And I am forgetting it. Just gonna blame all the medicine I'm on. But I'll put it on the screen. You can see what it looks like. I think Amanda even read something else by him. It was only an ebook or audiobook or something that I did not read, called like Wicked Games or something like that. Anyway, we're excited about reading Spidertothefly. We're definitely doing a ARC review or a vlog. I don't remember which one we decided on. Keep an eye out for it because we plan on doing that in March.
This next one I am so excited about. I might start reading it actually after I finish the book I'm currently reading. And that is Spidertothefly by jhmarkert. I just adore his horror books, y'all. He is my favorite horror author at the moment. He absolutely is. All of his books have been bangers. I have Mr. Lullaby. This is actually the only jhmarkert book I own. I need to fix that. But Jen got this for me for my birthday, and it is actually autographed and dedicated to me. Oh my gosh. jhmarkert did that for me. Well, Jen got jhmarkert to do that for me, and he obviously was very gracious and agreed. So love it, love it, love it. But I have read Sleep Tight and I have read Nightmare Man. And so far I think Nightmare Man is my favorite, absolute favorite. But I have really liked all of his books, so I cannot wait to read Spidertothefly. And we're gonna vlog it for y'all, so y'all are gonna see, you're gonna see our reactions and everything, so stay tuned for that one.
We are also going to be doing a Hunger Games vlog in March because on the 17th, Sunrise on the Reaping is coming out, which is about Hamish Abernathy. Hamish is one of the characters that was in the original 3 Hunger Games books, but in Sunrise on the Reaping, we now are going to see the Hunger Games Hamish got picked to be in. Obviously, again, you know he survives if he was in the future books. But now you're going to see exactly what happened during his Hunger Games. And during his Hunger Games, it was the 50th anniversary of the games, and they picked twice as many people to be in the Hunger Games from all the districts. I am really interested in that. I am holding up, though, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because we intended to read this when this came out in paperback some point last year. I don't even remember when this came out, and we didn't get to it. It wasn't even on one of the lists for us to do, because for the most part, I don't know if we've ever actually canceled anything we've planned in a month. We get behind and we just put it in the next month. I'm not as interested in this one. It's a prequel that basically goes over the background for President Snow. And I'm not as interested for his background and his story. Amanda, I think, plans on reading this. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to read it. I mean, I have it, but I don't know how much I really want to read this one as well. I really want to get to that one. So keep your eyes out for this one. We're going to be doing it after it releases on March 17th.
So another vlog that we are going to be doing in March, I'm really excited for. And we are going to be reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Now, I have read the Hunger Games trilogy a long time ago, before they were even movies, and I was obsessed. I loved them. So last year when she came out with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I went out and bought it. I have not read this yet, so I'm definitely reading this one this month. I want to read this one before I read the Sunrise on the Reaping, so or Sunrise of the Reaping. I'm not sure if it's on or of, but y'all know what I mean. I wanted to get into this right now. I need to read this. I don't know if I'm gonna vlog it because I don't think Jen's gonna read it. I'm not sure if she's read it yet or if she is planning on reading it, but I will definitely maybe, you know, read it and then give you guys some thoughts on it during the vlog that we're gonna do. So we are gonna vlog the Sunrise on the Reaping, and I need to get this read so that, because this came out last year and I have not read it yet. I also have not seen the movie, so I've seen previews, so I kind of have an idea that it's about President Snow and when he was a child, what the Hunger Games was like, but I really don't know it more than that, what the book is about, so this is going to be a nice surprise for me.
So we are about a month away from our 2-year anniversary of doing Fiction Addictions on BookTube, which is exciting. It's hard. It's just crazy to think it's been 2 years. Our very first vlog that we did was on an Ashleywindstead book, and it was called The Last Housewife. And I remember picking it. I think she and I need to do another vlog that we pick a book the same way, even though it didn't really go very well. We both decided to pick 5 books each, I think it was, and 5 books we really wanted to read, and we recorded it. And then she looked to see if any of them overlapped. And if there was one that overlapped, that ended up being the book that we read for that month. I don't know if it'll work as well now, but I do. When I was remembering that concept, I was like, that was pretty interesting. We should try and do it. The problem is, I think we went 2 or 3 times, and I still don't think we overlapped. And we ended up picking, I don't even know how we ended up picking The Last Housewife. This is a long story to tell you that Ashleywindstead has a new book coming out, and it coincidentally is coming out right when we have our 2-year anniversary for Fiction Addictions. And also we both got the physical arc for it. So obviously that means we have to do a vlog for it. This one, I feel like I've said the background for this one a lot now, but I just talked about it in our March and April most anticipated. This Book Will Bury Me is about a woman who something happened with her father, and either he was murdered or he was part of something horrendous. She's in college now, she ends up being very obsessed with true crime, and it has something to do with what happened with her father. There are a lot of people that are obsessed with true crime, and even I tend to like to watch 2020, and I think there's a whole channel about true crime. And so she becomes obsessed with, I want to say either teenagers or someone's murdered in Idaho. It might be referencing the Idaho murder that happened a couple years ago. And I believe she goes to actually try and solve things herself though. And I think that's part of the plot that I don't know, but that's okay. I like to find things out when I'm reading it too. I don't like to know the whole entire premise before I go into a book. This one sounded really up my alley because of the subject. I'm looking forward to this, but it's also really cool because it'll be our 2-year anniversary.
This next vlog, y'all, is very, very sentimental and very I don't know, important to me and Jen. And we are going to be reading This Book Will Bury Me by Ashleywindstead. And y'all, our very first vlog on this channel, which ironically is 2 years ago in March, was Ashleywindstead, and I absolutely loved the book. I think I liked it a little more than Jen, but I had so much fun filming that very first vlog, reading that book. It was a really good thriller, and I'm just really excited to sort of round out our second year and welcome our third year on YouTube by doing another Ashleywindstead vlog. And this book is coming out in March. It is coming out in March, so we're going to be reading it, and hopefully along with y'all can go out and pick this book up, because I do think Ashleywindstead needs more hype as a writer. I also have Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Hold on. Not read it yet, but I bought this when hardback books were on sale at Barnes & Noble, so I did get this book at a discount, and I figured it was the perfect time to buy it. I just haven't read it. So also another Ashleywindstead book that I need to read.
2 more books to go over that we're going to do vlogs for. The first is our secret pick. This one is empty at the moment because we are doing library luck for March. So we are each going to be heading to the library and seeing if we are lucky enough to find a book that ends up being a really great book. Since it's March, St. Patrick's Day, luck is involved in terms of the theme in general. I thought this would be a fun vlog to do. I obviously haven't gotten to the library yet. I don't know when I'm physically going to be able to do things since I am still in pain. Since it's not until March sometime, hopefully she'll have this towards the end of March and give me time to be able to go and get something at the library. I'm looking forward to it because obviously I love to go to the library, and it's been a minute since I've been to the library. I think it was around my birthday last time I was there. Keep your eye out for our secret vlog in March.
And finally, y'all, last but the most fun is gonna be the TBR jar. Every other month, Jen and I will put all of our most anticipated books we've discussed in our most anticipated videos in these jars, and we get to pick one to read. So I do read them throughout, you know, reading and stuff. So if there are books that I have read that I didn't vlog or that I didn't pull out of the jar, and I do select that book, I'm just gonna throw it away. So it is possible I could pull a book I've already read, but if I do, like I said, I'm just gonna throw the slip away and draw another one. So let's see. I'm so excited. I love doing this little TBR jar. It's so exciting. You never know what you're gonna get, and there's a multitude of genres and types of books in here, so you just literally never know. All right, I got The Half King by Melissa Landers. I am so excited to read this. Y'all, I have been wanting to read this book. For such a long time. I have bought it, and I'm so excited now. I am so excited to do this. And we are vlogging this, of course. We're vlogging our most anticipated TBR reads, so so excited. I can't wait to read this one.
And last but certainly not least is the TBR jar that we get to pick a book in the month that we're not doing a most anticipated. For the next 2 months, we read books that were from previous most anticipated to try and read down the books that we go over. I have a tendency to go over a lot. So that means there are a lot of books that I eventually want to get to, and it's been so long since we've been doing them. There are definitely a lot. It's probably in the hundreds. I did just update and add some more to this, but when I read ones that were in most anticipated, I'm not as good about picking through them because of the way I have them in here and they're hidden. So let's see which one I got. And I have little pieces of paper, but you can't see on the outside what the title is. And they're wrapped around tiny little books. And I just need to see, hopefully it'll be one that I've been wanting to read. I know it's not one of the ones I just put in, which makes me a little sad because there's a couple books I really want to read I had just put in, but those were kind of like a neon pink. And I already read this one, It's Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. And it's actually a really good book. I really enjoyed that one, but it also means that I have to pick again, which that's not a bad thing. Maybe I will get one of the ones that I really wanted. I'm not looking, because there are hot pink ones on here that, no, still a light pink one. And I ripped it. The Rule of Three, it's in 2 pieces, by Sam Ripley. It was from our July-August most anticipated. So I don't know if you guys can see. The Rule of Three, Sam Ripley. I kind of remember, I want to say it's like a horror book, and it seemed really interesting because it was coming up on October and I really wanted to read it. So that may not be a bad pick. I've had a bad run of ones that I've picked from the jar that have not been great. And I want to say I feel like I might have even DNF'd something that I've picked from the jar. I don't know, but if I don't like it, I will not hesitate to DNF. So I think I have mostly electronic ARCs more than physical books. And I don't know how much that's going to end up irritating me reading on my tablet that much. So thank you for watching for our March TBR. Let us know what's on your March TBR. I would love to hear some books out there or any of these on your list coming up. And thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.